tiny stone villages, golden afternoon light, a drone drifting over terracotta rooftops, rolling green hills, and the deep blue Adriatic. This is where today's search begins because we're hunting for stone houses in Italy that cost less than 60,000 euros, and some of them don't look like they belong anywhere near that price. The prices started around 58,000 euros, roughly 63,000 US dollars, and climbed to about 130,000 euros or around 140,000 US dollars. But don't let the higher prices fool you. The final two properties completely change what good value looks like, and one of them feels like it belongs in an entirely different market. As always, these prices were accurate at the time of this roundup, so be sure to verify the listing details, documents, and buying costs before making any decisions. Now, let's start with the first stone house that made me stop scrolling. Picture the map. Italy, then east toward the Abruzzo region, that quieter stretch between the mountains and the sea that most tourists skip on their way to Tuscany, and then further north into Tuscany's Lunigiana, the land of the moon, mountains on one side, coastline on the other. This isn't just about square meters today. It's about what your actual life looks like for this money. The light coming through the window, a yard to sit in, how far it really is to the sea, whether you can walk to a coffee, whether the town still has a bakery that actually opens before you do. And the first stop already sets the bar high. Let's talk about Abruzzo for a second, because this is where our journey begins. It's one of Italy's least crowded regions, wedged between the Apennine Mountains and the Adriatic, still full of medieval hill towns that most foreigners have never even heard of, let alone visited. It's known for stone architecture, slow food, national parks, thick with wolves and bears, and a coastline locals have quietly kept for themselves for decades. That's exactly the kind of place where deals like this still exist, because the world hasn't caught on yet. According to the listing, property number 1 sits right in the center of Furci, a lively little hamlet about 20 minutes from the Adriatic coast, and the price is around 58,000 euros. That's about $62,640 rounded up. The exterior wow here is that original arched stone doorway, the kind that makes you stop on the sidewalk and just look at it for a second. Step through and you're in a large landing that doubles as a living room, then a proper kitchen with a working fireplace and an original wood-burning oven, described as ideal for baking your own bread and pizza, plus a dining room downstairs, a bathroom with a tub, and upstairs 2 big bright bedrooms and a second sitting area with a balcony looking out over the historic center. There's even a 40 square meter cellar that's about 430 square feet, with carved stone arches and its own entrance, which honestly could become a wine cellar, a studio, a workshop, whatever you want it to be. Here's the reassurance, and you'll hear this a lot today because it matters. This is one of those solid properties you could actually move into. The listing describes it as in perfect habitable condition, ready to move into, roof and facade already redone, heating connected, no major renovations needed. It's not a museum, it's real life. Furniture's negotiable, and you could be sleeping there next month. And the best part is, the price on this one has already been cut twice, which tells you something about how these small town listings move once the right buyer isn't circling yet. But don't get attached yet, because the leader changes fast from here. Quick regional flavor before we move on. Mild Mediterranean climate, close-ish to the Amalfi Coast, small bars and craft shops in town, the kind of place where everybody already knows your name by week 2. And now, back to the deals. Property number 2 takes us about 45 minutes further from the coast to Torrebruna, still in Abruzzo, famous locally for its truffle festival every August. And this one's priced around 70,000 euros, roughly $75,600, rounded up to the nearest dollar. The wow here is the exposed stone and brick throughout. Vaulted ceilings on the ground floor that make a small footprint feel bigger than it actually is. Inside, it's an open-plan kitchen and living space, totaling about 45 square meters, which comes to roughly 484 square feet, with a wood-burning stove, a modern bathroom with a shower, and upstairs 2 character bedrooms with exposed beams. One with its own private street entrance, which is a nice touch if you ever want to rent a room or just want a bit of separation for guests. This one's described by the listing as recently restored with care, sold fully furnished, ready to live in. Again, no major renovations. This is a house you actually move into, not a project you inherit and fight with for 2 years. The deal kicker. It's genuinely turnkey, water tank included, and at that price for a fully furnished, freshly restored stone home, some of you are already pausing the video to screenshot this one. Don't, because we're not even at the twist yet. Let's do a fast fact snack. This whole stretch of inland Abruzzo has small grocery stores, a bakery, a pizzeria, a post office, nothing fancy, real small town living, an hour or so from proper beach days. And now the leader changes again, because property number 3 flips the format a little and takes us somewhere new entirely. We're crossing into Lazio now, the region that wraps around Rome, though we're heading nowhere near the capital's noise or its traffic. Rivodutri sits in the quieter, greener north of the region, close to lakes, forested hills, and small farming communities that feel like a completely different country from the city an hour south. It's the kind of countryside Romans themselves escape to on weekends, and most tourists never even glance at on a map. This is Rivodutri, and it's not a townhouse this time. It's a cozy stone farmhouse, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, about 58 square meters, which works out to around 624 square feet, priced around 78,000 euros, which lands around $84,240, rounded up. Now, on paper, that's more money for less house, so why is it here? Because of what comes with it. The wow anchor isn't the building, it's the land, described as roughly 4,380 square meters, which is close to 47,150 square feet, mostly flat, with part of it designated as an actual truffle ground, which for anyone who loves cooking is basically a treasure map in your own backyard. Inside it's simple. A snug living room with a fireplace, a small kitchenette, an upstairs 1 bedroom, and a functional bathroom with a shower. Described as tastefully renovated, ready to live in as is. Utilities kept basic with water connected, a gas cylinder for cooking, a septic tank. This is your smallest compromise of the day, and it's a fair one. Fewer square meters inside, but a huge private plot outside, room to garden, room to breathe, and the listing even notes good sun exposure if you ever wanted to add solar down the line. And the best part is, this is the kind of place where the land alone could be worth chasing. For the right buyer, this is less starter home and more quiet second life, the kind of property people buy and never quite explain to their friends back home. Comment which one you'd actually pick so far, because we're only halfway, and the leader's about to change one more time before things get seriously interesting. Quick regional flavor, rolling hills, quiet villages, hiking and cycling trails all through this part of Lazio, short drives to lakes and local fairs. And now, property number 4, back into Tuscany proper, the Lunigiana region. If you haven't heard of Lunigiana, that's kind of the point. It's tucked away in Tuscany's northwestern corner, squeezed between the Apennines and the coast near the Cinque Terre, and it's stayed refreshingly under the radar compared to the Chianti Hills everyone already knows from postcards. Stone hamlets, medieval watchtowers, castles on nearly every ridge, and a mix of mountain air and beach access within the same afternoon drive. That's the identity here, and it's a big part of why prices haven't caught up yet. A stone lodge in the village of Casola, priced around 85,000 euros, which works out to about $91,800, rounded up to the nearest dollar, for 150 square meters, or roughly 1,615 square feet, and 2 bedrooms, noticeably more space per euro than what we just saw. The wow anchor is the stone flag terrace right at the entrance, plus a second terrace off the living room for evenings under that Tuscan sky everyone talks about. Inside there's a farmhouse-style kitchen, a pantry, a bathroom with a shower on the main floor, 2 bedrooms upstairs, and this is the honest compromise here. The listing describes the interior as ready for some thoughtful modernizing. So this one leans a little more toward cosmetic updates than the last 3. Still no structural overhaul, Just some personal touches if you want to make it yours. Downstairs, 5 cantina rooms open onto a stone courtyard, which is basically a blank canvas for a workshop, a studio, extra guest space, whatever you need it to be. The deal kicker, a garden with fruit trees, and according to the listing, a restaurant with a pool just a short walk away, plus the medieval town of Fivizzano, 12 minutes out with a hospital, schools, shops, the works, so you're rural, but never actually isolated when you need something. This is a solid pick for a family that wants space to grow into, or honestly, a slower retirement with real infrastructure nearby. Don't click away yet, because now we hit the twist. Property number 5 is where the ladder really jumps. Back in Abruzzo, in the village of Guilmi, this townhouse is priced around 90,000 euros, roughly $97,200, rounded up, and it is, according to the listing, completely restored, not partially, completely, back in 2005, and kept up carefully since. 3 floors, about 120 square meters total, which comes to roughly 1,292 square feet. The wow anchor is that ground floor entrance opening onto a little piazza, right in the center of the village. You step out your door into the town square, not a parking lot, not a hallway, an actual piazza. Inside, a cozy kitchen with a fireplace, an exposed stone on the ground floor, a second character kitchen dining room upstairs with its own thermal fireplace, and a panoramic balcony over the piazza. 3 bedrooms total, and 3 full bathrooms, including an ensuite off the master with its own balcony. Rewired electrics, new roof, new double-glazed windows with mosquito netting, sold furnished. This is about as close to zero compromise as we get today. The listing describes it plainly, as in perfect condition, ready to live in, and honestly, 3 bathrooms for 3 bedrooms in a stone house, this price is genuinely rare. And the best part is, the price already got trimmed once, from $93,000 down to $90,000. So somebody's motivated to sell, and that's worth knowing before you make an offer. This is your best pick if you want total peace of mind. Actually move into no major renovations, full stop. But we saved the strongest for the end because property number 6 is going to make you rethink everything you just saw. One more quick fact snack first. This whole northern stretch, from Abruzzo up into Lunigiana, sits within a couple of hours of major airports: Pisa, Parma, Genoa on the Tuscan side, Pescara down in Abruzzo. So getting there from anywhere isn't the obstacle people assume it is. Now, the final listing, Zeri, deep in the Lunigiana Valley, part of a small managed village called Furci. Zeri itself is more mountain than coast, a scattering of stone hamlets high in the valley, historically known for wool and chestnut forests, offering a slower, almost alpine version of Tuscan life that a lot of buyers don't even realize exists this close to the sea. It's the kind of place where you go for silence and clean air, not sightseeing checklists. This one's priced higher, around 130,000 euros, roughly $140,400, rounded up to the nearest dollar. And at first glance you might think, wait, that breaks the pattern, but stay with me, because this is where the value flips completely. For that price, you're getting 137 square meters, which is close to 1,475 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, and a private garden on a plot the listing describes as around 3,290 square meters, or roughly 35,420 square feet. The wow anchor is the setting itself. A mountain village with tennis and basketball courts, ponds, a resident caretaker keeping the shared grounds up, ski lifts and mountain trails close by, and a train station about 40 minutes out in Pontremoli. Inside, a welcoming living room with a fireplace, an open-plan kitchen, 2 bedrooms on a mezzanine level, one opening onto its own terrace, and 2 bathrooms, one with a tub, one with a shower. Condition is described as good, LPG boiler, solid water supply, a modest monthly community fee for the shared amenities. This one costs more, sure, but think about what you're actually buying. A finished stone house, a genuinely large private plot, a small resort-style community around you, and according to the listing, real rental potential if you ever wanted to offset the mortgage with holiday guests. If Guilmi was the safest pick of the day, Zeri is the lifestyle pick. This is the one for someone who wants mountains, community, and an actual 4-season second home, not just a project. So here's where we land. Best for the sea and easy village life, Furci. Best if you want land and privacy. That Rivodutri farmhouse with the truffle ground. Most turnkey and lowest risk, Guilmi, hands down. And if budget stretches a little, Zeri for the lifestyle and the plot size. Every single one of these, according to the listings, is described as ready or close to ready. Solid properties. No major renovations standing between you and moving in. This isn't a museum tour, it's real life you could actually be living by next year. If you want more finds like this, subscribe, because the next region we're covering is even cheaper than this one. And comment below which of these 6 you'd actually buy, because I genuinely can't decide between the Piazza House and the Mountain Village, and I want to know which one wins for you.